What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Team Wilder. Malik Scott, the trainer of Deontay Wilder, had this to say about Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay being on the undercard, okay? And this is what he had to say. He has made a comment about that. He said, Scott confirmed the truth of reports that Wilder is likely to appear on the card, as well as indicating that rumors of a contest with Zhang or a potential rematch with Parker are also true. He said, yeah, probably on the Joshua and Ngannou card. It is no secret who the names is that we have been matched and mentioned with, but we will see. Nothing is signed and sealed. And the most important thing is that he just gets active. He has to get active. Many believe that the defeat for Wilder could leave him in no man's land and maybe possibly encourage him to retire, but not Malik Scott, and let me counterpunch. It's a good thing that you know, people are speaking out. We heard Shelly Finkel say what he said. He think it will be a great idea to fight Zhang. And he would rival Anthony Joshua in his fight with Ngannou. Now we have Malik Scott stating, hey, well, you know, yeah, it's true. You know, we haven't made a decision yet. We haven't decided yet, but it is true. We are rumored to be on those, but we have to get back active. So the question is, you know, the rematch with Parker or Zhilei Zhang, he hasn't made a decision yet. So at least they're aware of what's going on. So if Wilder decides to not fight, you know, hopefully the reason would be, people, like I said earlier, would be fighting someone that he feels that could get him enough confidence to get that what he feels he lost back. I just find it weird that one fight determines your whole career at a certain point. Now, inactivity, I think he has to get active. I do believe that. I think he needs to get back in the ring, SAFP, not sit there and ponder for a year and think about or get into failed negotiations with guys that really don't want to fight. You know what I mean? I'm not saying any names, okay? But I think he really needs to. But the thing is he ready for someone like Joseph Parker? Is he ready for a Big Bang Zhang? You know, because Big Bang Zhang and company, they've already signed the contract to fight Wilder. So it's all up to Wilder, okay? Ultimately, you know. But he says the most important thing is to get him active. So that doesn't say that he's going to be on that card, you know. So, you know, nothing is signed and sealed, nothing, you know. So they're still thinking. They're still thinking. And I think they will do what's best for Wilder, you know, and if it's, you know, fighting lesser opposition, you know, like Anthony Joshua did last year, so be it. I won't be inclined to talk smack or to criticize Deontay for this matter, as long as he doesn't keep AJ in his mouth. And why do I say that? I say that because of this. I think you can worry too much about a person due to envy or, you know, whatever. Hell, infatuation, I don't know. Hatred, to the point where you can't focus on your own career. You know, and let's not let that not be the case with Deontay. Deontay needs to worry about the person in front of him. Deontay needs to have 100% focus. I know he's ambitious. I know he wants that money. I know, you know, he's eager, you know, so they say. But, you know, a person like Wilder that talks about the past as though it was yesterday all the fucking time, you know, kind of, and then he loses. That just makes you understand and realize, and hopefully he realizes it, that, hey, you weren't focused on the right guy. You were focused on the wrong guy. You wouldn't fight an AJ. You signed to fight him, but, you know. And I think it's karma. Why is it karma? I look at AJ and Deontay. AJ has always been ahead of Deontay. If you guys notice, he was the first to lose. He was the first to get his belts back if Deontay ever gets his belts back. He was the first one that took that loss. Wilder took his loss a year after that, right? He was the first to get beat by the same person back to back. Well, so was Deontay. You know what I mean? See, so Deontay, Joshua lost, and then Deontay lost, right? And then Joshua lost again, right? Then Deontay lost. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, Andy Ruiz beat Joshua, then Tyson Fury beat Deontay. Then Deontay lost back-to-back, Joshua lost back-to-back. So they have similarities in their career based on what has happened in their career. They're no longer champions no more. They're still high up the rankings, you know, and that's a kind of surprising thing on how high Wilder was and Joshua, really, because, you know, and I think Joshua, took that whole part of that whole 2023 to get his bearings back, to get his self-confidence back. And I can't really blame Joshua for doing that. Why? Because fighters that fought that are considered pound for pound or Hall of Famers or all-time greats did the same thing. And if you don't know who I'm talking about Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis was knocked out by McCall. Do you know how many fights? He didn't fight McCall right away. Do you know how many fights he had in between losing to McCall and fighting McCall again? 5. 5 fights, bro. He had 5 fights. And it took him a while to get his bearings back. You know what I'm saying? He had to take a while to rebuild. He had to get that confidence back. He had to get some wins under his belt. He needed to get active. You know what I mean? He had to clear his head. You know, when you get a string of wins like Lennox Lewis did and Anthony Joshua starting to do, you start to do things, you start to feel differently. Because you start realizing that, hey, the public, they are criticizing. They're very fickle. They're fickle as hell. People going to love you one day and hate you the next. And I think he gets it. I think he understands, like, okay, they're loving me now, but before they didn't, and I hope everyone gets that whole point about boxing. You're a bum one day, but then they're in love with you the next day. That's how boxing is. Seriously, And just to verify on Lennox Lewis, okay, Oliver McCall. Okay, so he fought Lionel Butler, Justin Fortune, Tommy Morrison, Ray Mercer, then Oliver McCall. So Oliver McCall was the 5th person. So actually it was 4. I was off 1. Okay, but it took him a while to get back in the ring with Oliver McCall, and that was one of the weirdest fights I ever seen. I remember that fight. It was gnarly. It was kind of real strange, but in a kind of uncomfortable way. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So back to Wilder, though. Wilder may need to do exactly what Joshua did first. Take this time off, get his bearings back, fight some guys, get them in the ring. Don't be greedy. Don't be proud. Get their ass in. Pay them some money if you got it. If your marquee value is all that and then some, if you still believe that, then he should have no problems making a fight with these guys. Now, the problem would be where would he fight, though? Because if he doesn't take the Saudi money, that's the pot of gold. So does he take this risk and cash out knowing that he's not ready for these guys? Or does he go back to Al Heyman and tell Al Heyman, look, I need some fights. I need to get active. I've stayed out of the ring too long to get me back, and I need to take 6 months to a year off, have a couple fights within those 6 months. And hopefully at the end of the year on my 3rd fight back, be ready just like AJ was last year. That may be the route he needs to take. But the thing is, will he take it? Maybe, just maybe, his pride won't allow him to do so. But I suggest that's what he should do if he does not want to fight Zhang for that reason and that reason only. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Malik Scott confirming the potential fights that Deontay Wilder could fight on the undercard of Joshua and Ngannou. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!